It's the
you can
podcast
just
that
we're,
never ends. It just goes on and on, my
we're
friend.
recording separately. Let's face it, if we're horribly desynced, all this means is Curtis has to do more job adding silence in.
That's pretty
I
much
actually
about
don't
it.
care anymore about this. Yeah.
That's the way you're taking this, James? Like, as soon as it's done, just like, fuck it.
No, I've just realised that despite the fact I'm horribly stressed, not going to sleep tonight, this doesn't affect me in any way whatsoever.
Yeah, so you can relax. Deep breaths. We're not doing this with the cat. Think about how much worse it would be if the cat were here.
I think
Hi.
we
Hi. 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 Can I put my face on this? I'm going to drool on this. That's what the cat would be doing. It would be so much worse.
I know. I mean, the cat gets away with it because it's cute. I mean, if you wanted to do that, you could get away with it too. But
I prefer not to drool on things.
okay. Well, if you want, we can finish this bottle of wine and start a second.
That would
No,
instigate immediately you drooling on things.
Well, it actually might, but this is good wine, though.
I'm glad. Pear wine. Does it pair well?
Fuck off.
He beat me to it.
Do you want to do it?
No, it's
Yeah, why don't
okay.
you
No,
both
we can-
together? Just do it as once, like as a group thing.
Yeah. Come
It's
on.
a bonding
no,
experience.
the moment's gone. What? Fuck. Anyway. What the hell happened? You're gone.
Hello?
Well, no, we just don't have any video for you.
Hello. No, I can see.
No.
I know.
Oh,
I
okay.
have video. I have video for.
Oh, okay. There we go. You're back.
I don't
That
know,
was
James
weird.
was just
Anyway.
saying absolutely nothing and not moving, so it looked like James was frozen, but James was just playing the long con. He was just like, if I just stand like this, everyone's going to assume everything's fucked up, and Curtis is just going to go insane.
Although I did come up with an idea when I was down in the laundrette this morning.
Oh, what is it?
It's pitch black in there, the lights off. So you get someone really drunk till they pass out, then you drag them in there, and then you wait for them to wake up in there with the lights off, and you talk to them like they're in their room, and you make them believe they've gone blind.
Oh, you're a bad person sometimes. Okay, anyway. I guess we should do something.
Yeah, James, why don't you start us off?
Okay,
Before
good.
this whole fucking ship goes under, James.
Yeah. Have some wine.
You trying to get me drunk, Amanda?
Well, it might help. Worked last time.
Wait, what did she do to you last time?
I'm going to leave that for the audience to decide. I can't see any way this could look bad on me, so...
Yeah, I suppose. I would say I really like the fact that occasionally we keep interrupting you trying to drink.
all the time.
Everything in life is just a distraction from your drinking.
You don't know how happy I am to have wine in my apartment.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad. I mean, not to support your rampant alcoholism.
As
And
fun
you're
as
not a
character
rampant
assassination is.
alcoholic. Stop that fucking sigh.
Okay. I guess we'll start.
Yeah, I guess we will.
Hey guys, welcome to Paleo After Dark. You better fucking appreciate this one.
This is good, James. Always show contempt for the people that you're talking to.
If they would talk to us, maybe I wouldn't have them as little mannequins in my head.
You know, we're just throwing this out into the internet. It's kind of like an echo chamber. It might as well just be you talking to the person inside your head.
I'm talking to Amanda, which is almost the same thing.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, I, for one, would like to say hi, guys. We're glad you could join us. We're having some weird technical issues this evening, including putting computers on top of strong magnets, which ended about as well as you can imagine.
We're paleontologists. We obviously didn't know that microwaves have magnets in them.
I did, but I pretty much just shoot. Do you see all the shit that's on top of my other microwave?
You know, I have. Like, that microwave is basically just a stand. You use that microwave as, like, this just needs to go here, so it goes on a microwave.
Because do you know how cool it would be if I caused an explosion?
See, didn't you get that microwave, like...
He does have a backup microwave.
He does have a backup microphone.
Because he has more than one. I meant to say microwave, but microphone came out. I'm not having a good evening.
It's all the wine.
I have barely had, like, a fourth of a glass.
You should drink more. I just realised I shouldn't respond to what I can hear in the room, and I should respond to what I hear over the computer.
No, that's okay. I'll just sync you guys separately.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
I'm going to sync you guys to each other with the echo, and that's the way I'm doing it.
Okay. So this is your bi-weekly podcast.
Sound as angry as humanly possible about that, James.
I'm not angry, okay?
It's gonna be okay. What are we talking about today? It's something that's fun, isn't it?
Yes. We're talking about arthropods and brains.
See, that makes James happy, and that's good.
Brains do make James happy.
It's because James is a zombie.
Secretly?
I thought that was common knowledge.
Oh, okay.
Well, you do practice voodoo.
Also, we have some guy playing sax downstairs, so I don't know.
It's amazing.
Badly.
But you have somebody playing saxophone downstairs right now while you're recording?
Down and what, to the left?
Down in front.
Down.
I was just wanted to clarify that had nothing to do with James being a zombie.
Oh,
you just went immediately from James is a zombie to we have somebody recording saxophone.
Well, badly.
I don't know. I mean, there are probably some zombies in New Orleans.
Yeah, Left 4 Dead 2, right?
Oh, so we've cycled back to voodoo.
Sure. Okay, good.
That's what I was talking about. I know you gave me that look because you didn't get what I was talking about, but sure.
Oh, sorry. Like I said, little behind.
That's all right.
Anyway,
due to technical difficulties, I'm already on my third beer, so this is going to be great.
This is actually hour and 20 minutes of recording.
Yes, this was almost the podcast that wasn't.
So everybody should be properly grateful.
Again, that level of contempt for the audience.
I wouldn't say it's contempt. I don't know what it is, but I wouldn't say it's contempt.
It's a standard way of treating everyone. Literally, I should be thankful that I am allowed to do things for her.
Yeah. Wait. This.
I wish the look that I was giving him could properly be conveyed.
You know what? It's okay. It transcends all physical media, and everyone just kind of knows.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So I guess does somebody want to talk about what we're talking about?
Oh, right. Okay,
brains.
Brains with arthropods, with stuff from China, which is pretty cool. China's pretty cool. Stuff from China's pretty cool. Fossils.
Yeah.
Stuff. Brains.
Mm. So she's laughing at me. She's smiling at me. So
that's good.
Oh dear. Is everything okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll put my knife down.
James, I wanted to get through the day without calling 911.
What happened?
Nothing.
Nobody's bleeding anywhere. It's fine.
I went to move stuff, including knives and things, and they just went everywhere.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just throwing knives. It's fine.
Yeah. Hey, Amanda, if we needed a career in a circus, you're very lucky I got the right S because I nearly said something else then.
I don't think we can... I don't think we can be friends anymore.
Why? Why not? You don't even know what was in my head.
Anyway, we're talking about
The only thing
arthropod
that
brains.
sounds like circus. Never mind.
I was
Like-
okay. The second word was show.
Second word was show.
Yeah. I don't know why circus turned into 2 words. Anyway, so we're talking about brains.
Yeah, brains.
Except, well, kinda, yeah.
We're talking about potential residue of brains.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which are very interesting for me for reasons that are not linked directly to the fact that there are brains. But
Yeah, I mean, the fact that there are brains is interesting, but the stuff that we can tell from the brains is interesting too.
So, what type of brains are we talking about here?
arthropod brains.
Arthropod brains.
Are
Yeah.
there different types of arthropod brains?
This is actually something that comes up a little bit in the papers.
There are,
And
but
that
she's
that
just
knowing
asked me the
smile
wrong-
suggests... Sorry. Go ahead, James.
Sorry, Amanda's just asked me a very technical question that I don't have a reasonable answer to.
Oh, is that why she
Oh,
was
good.
staring snarkily at the
No.
camera with a big grin
Yes,
on her
there are-
face?
Well, okay, so basically, there's the basic divisions of the arthropod brain. There's the fact that different arthropods have different type of brain, different types of brains. There's a more mandibulate type of brain. I don't know what that looks like. There's a more calycerate type of brain. I don't know what that looks like. But there are at least two major archetypes of brain, but they've all got the same systems in them. The different lobes of the brain, which are very important, so I'll get them out of the way now. Arthropod brains are tripartite, at least at the forefront. And you have the first segment, which is protocerebral, the second segment, which is deutocerebral, and the third segment, which is tritocerebral.
So basically, Latinizing first part, second part, third part. Proto
Yes.
first, deutero second, tri third.
Yes.
So those are lobes, and I think a key thing to remember when we're talking about arthropod brains is we're not talking about standard sort of vertebrate brains like what we see in what we are used to with humans. We're talking about ganglia and collections of nerves and various other sort of processes that arthropod neurological systems are very different from most vertebrates.
Yeah, it's pretty much. Wait. Well, okay, hang on. Never mind.
They're more complex than simple ganglion, but they do actually say that ganglia are part of the arthropod neurological system. Like they've got
Yeah.
I don't know much about the specifics of the arthropod brain stuff, but when they were talking about it in the paper, they were describing it as various like neurological bundles that were the various lobes of the brain.
Yes. Yeah, and these are important because they're linked to either appendage or basically appendage innovation. And
So
also
I guess
because
just drawing
that's
this
gut
back a
level.
little bit, just to give it a little bit more context. Specifically, there are these papers that came out, one last year and one this year, looking at the Chengjiang fauna. And Amanda, feel free to fucking bitch slap me over my pronunciation.
It's all right.
Okay, looking at Fujianhua and what's the second one?
Analcorneus.
Okay, which
Glad you pronounced that right, because I wasn't even going to touch it.
I mean, I
Okay.
assume he pronounces it right.
I'm pronouncing. There's the way I pronounce it when I started finding out these things. There's the way you meant to pronounce it, and there's the way I pronounce it after having worked with the German for 4 years. So
Okay, so you're just gonna blame this entirely on German pronunciation if it's wrong.
I say Barsipod now.
Okay then. Uh,
Martin ruined you.
I don't think you can ever really use that term meaningfully because it's just wrong. Martin doesn't ruin anything.
That's true. He's a pretty awesome guy.
He once sat with me on Photoshop making a giant anus on a horseshoe crab appear and disappear for about 10 minutes.
See, that's why Martin doesn't ruin anything. Martin only
I
makes
miss-
everything that he's in better.
I miss that man.
Yeah, I do too. So,
Anyway.
yeah, these two studies are looking at very exceptionally preserved fossils from the Chengjiang fauna, which is a specific locality of Burgess Shale type preservation in China. And these are two arthropods. Fujianhua is God, what is it kind of like a morellomorph? I can't remember exactly.
It's in fact a Fujianhuid.
Well,
Yeah, it's like the
it is its own
it's a
thing.
group of it's a group of weird shit.
It's generally considered the closest offshoot to arthropods of the arthropod stem group. Which
Okay,
means
so it's a very
nothing to
basal,
anyone
it's a
else.
very close to crown in quotes arthropod.
Yeah. It's the sister group to Euarthropoda, if we want to be all phylogenetic.
Okay, I do. That sounds great.
Okay. So yeah, and that was the first one that came out. And this listeners that, well, I mean, we talked about Fujianhua before.
Yeah, we did very briefly. I believe that entire podcast was just Amanda bitching at us at pronunciation.
Yeah, notice how I'm managing to sit on it this time.
I think
hard.
you have every single right to drill it down our throats because here's the thing, in science it's all about pronouncing it wrong and then just pretending that you're doing it all right.
Yeah, pretty much. The problem is whenever you have Chinese names that have been Romanized or Latinized especially, there are certain things that get changed that you then can't do anything about. Like, the species Microraptor gui, Gui in Chinese is actually pronounced gui.
Okay.
But because
it needs to be an I sound for Latin.
Yes, and because it was gu, I think, was the word that had been Latinized. So it's gui. And that just fucks with my head whenever I read it. Because it's like, oh, Microraptor nope. You
do realize that you don't have to obey those strict rules for naming.
I thought you did.
No.
I thought if you Latinized it, because that had been explicitly Latinized.
No, you can. There's the Eurypid Orconopterus, which is just a mixture of Ordovician, Canada, and then the Greek for wing. I named a species Strobilopterus proteus. If I did it correctly, it should be Proteusii because the god counts as a person. That sounded stupid, so I just called it Proteus.
Huh.
It could be random strings of letters as long as they're pronounceable.
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I remember because okay. Huh.
I mean, it's just. I mean, the whole nomenclature thing comes back from a time when people wanted to actually describe the animal, but the problem is that ended up with so many things being like spina or spinulosus or things like that. That
there are too many spinosas in the fossil record, and what's the other one as well? Serratus.
Oh,
yeah, exactly. So you end up with just by trying to use descriptive names that actually mean something, it's meaningless because it's just a whole bunch of names that are bullshit.
The real problem with foreign names is, like, especially with Chinese, the cadence of Western language structure is just not the same. So unless you know Chinese or have learned Chinese, you're just not going to pronounce it right. I mean, I say Chengjiang, I'm pretty sure it's not meant to be a sh, it's meant to be a shan sort of sound, right?
The CH? The CH is a ch.
Yeah, and the
Chung.
ENG?
It should be ung.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was getting at, yeah.
Tongue. So it should the and I don't even know if it may have been westernized to the point that I don't even know if Chinese scholars pronounce it, at least not when they're speaking English to people. They may very well say it Chengjiang or however it's pronounced, however you were saying it. But as far as I know, the correct Chinese pronunciation of it should be Chengjiang, because it's Jiang, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's Jiang.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a situation where the way that it's pronounced by most Westerners versus how it's pronounced by Chinese scholars is actually completely different.
Yeah. But, I mean, the Latinizing is a whole con anyway, because they didn't have U's. If you're going to go by Greek, there's a lot of letters in the Greek alphabet which don't translate. If you want to name anything off the Old Nordic, they've got things like the thorn and stuff like that, which don't exist in other alphabets at all. So
I want to name something in Cyrillic, a Cyrillic language.
You can. Well, I mean, Dave, in this Kazmataspid paper that should be coming out soon, he's named a bunch of stuff in Russian.
That's actually
The
pretty
first
cool.
letters of one of the names is DVUL. They're almost unpronounceable.
I
Okay.
love it.
There's a number. If you translate Russian, they will have letters that are pretty much just vowels.
Oh, that's true. They'll have entire words that are pretty much just vowels.
That's what I meant when I said letters.
Oh, okay.
I
Because
do like
you
the
can't
idea
have
of letters.
multiple letters.
Yeah, letters that are just vowels. A, E, I, O, and U. Sometimes Y.
Why?
Why?
Why is a vowel?
Y, indeed. So, anyway, correct pronunciation aside, this particular paper was looking at these fusion huids and these like great appendage arthropods. And both of these papers are seeing that they have potential like weird discolorations on the fossil that could possibly be neurological material that has been preserved. And there's
There
sort
are
of a
some
history.
people.
Sorry, go on.
Carry on. Okay.
Go on.
There are some people that say that a number of taphonomists can't see why brain material neural tissue should be even remotely preserved. And I can see their point. The thing is, when you look at the first paper on Fujian, you take it on faith that this is neural tissue, it's dark stains. The second one, if you look at they look at it under different lights, polarization, fluorescence, and stuff like that, and it does show it something unique, which lends to it more being something neural in nature rather than just random staining.
Yeah, this was something I was interested
It's
in
entirely.
asking you about. Oh, sorry, Jane. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, we do get other types of soft tissue preserved. It's not unnecessarily surprising that we could get neural tissue preserved.
No, indeed. It's just interesting that you get it preserved through the carapace and no sign of the gut. And if you think about the decay pathway, the soft tissues are going to be the ones that go first.
The one thing that I thought was interesting, and James, I wanted to discuss this with you because I don't know anything particular about this, but the key bit of information that they tried to use to suggest that this was neurological material is that they did a bunch of chemical studies. So X-ray kind of techniques where they can excite the molecules and figure out what what the actual chemistry is, and they showed like sections that were heavily enriched in iron, and they were saying that that was strong evidence that that was neurological tissue because it was contiguous. Is there, I guess, any major reason why iron would be a logical thing to look for arthropod neurology?
Well, I believe it's the shape that they're suggesting, and this is iron replacement. The thing about the Chengjiang is most of these animals are in 3D because they've been heavily replaced by iron. It's actually very different for the Burgess shale in this regard. You lose a lot of the fine detail that you get in the compressions at the Burgess shale, but you are getting 3D preservation, and this is because a lot of the material is being replaced by ferrous oxides.
Okay, because yeah, it was interesting that they showed they used iron and copper pretty much is the entirety of the animal. And then the sections that were strongly iron-based were the parts that were the neurological tissue.
Mm-hmm.
So all of those are secondary replacements. So they're just suggesting that the difference between the copper concentration and the iron concentration suggests a difference in tissue structure, and that's.
There could be something in the arthropod brain that is particularly enriched with iron. The one thing that does come to mind from my own experience is that because, and this is an oddity to horseshoe crabs, but horseshoe crabs don't use iron as oxygen binders in the blood. They use copper.
I thought a lot of arthropods did that.
Horseshoe crabs have blue blood.
I thought other ones did too. Don't lobsters?
Not as far as I know.
Huh, okay.
I mean, they might not have red blood, but I mean, there's something specific. I mean, horseshoe crabs are very particular because of the way they're some of the lysases and whatnot for regenerative purposes, and people milk them for.
Yeah, no,
biomedical companies milk.
Yeah, no, I knew about that. Yeah.
Am I just terrible for as soon as I hear Kubrick blood thinking of Bones quotes like calling Spock "you green-blooded freak"?
I thought
That was the whole
I
thing.
thought Spock was a sulfur-based organism.
No, Spock
No,
has
no, no.
copper
The blood's
blood.
copper blood. That's why it's green.
No.
Sulfur based. I mean, there's a lot of sulfur in the human body. If you've ever watched Full Metal Alchemist, you can get the basic breakdowns pretty easily.
That's why when we decompose, we smell bad. Well, partly.
This is what happens when I don't watch the original series of Star Trek for several years.
It's on Netflix.
I know, I started watching it again, and then my internet died, and now I can watch it again, and I need to do that.
I really love the episodes that are terrible. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the great episodes, but the episodes that are terrible, like Spock's Brain or Mun's Women, which is like trying to be feminist in the 1960s, which is terrible because it's so dated and sad and creepy. Isn't it great? She's beautiful because she has a man.
Oh, yeah, the 60s.
So anyway, making fun of Star Trek aside, so these studies show these very interesting imprints of something over the organism, and they use the general structure to suggest that it's potentially brain matter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. So James, why don't you, I guess, tell us about what any of that means, or because I mean, I guess I usually take this kind of stuff with a potentially jaded sense of cynicism, wondering whether or not this could just be smears on a rock. And it's very convincingly interesting. It's something weird, but why is it so obviously neurological tissue?
It's I don't know.
Okay. I
The
didn't actually
shape
mean to put you on the
is
spot. I was just
fairly
curious.
Yeah, the shape's fairly convincing for it being brain tissue. Asking me to verify whether or not this is actually brain tissue or not is not a good thing to do. I use it rather cynically as a tool rather than being a firm believer myself.
Use it cynically as a tool. Okay.
Well, plus, without actually viewing the specimen ourselves, it is kind of hard to make that decision. I mean, it's all well and good to look at the photographs and read their interpretation and go, yeah, okay, that's totally feasible. But in order to be 100% on board, I think I would want to see the specimen for myself. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
I mean, I don't know. Sorry, Hope.
No. I was just saying it's a case of, I mean, even if I'd seen it, I just need to read up more on various methods to test this. And they do more of this in the second paper than they do in the first paper in terms of testing it for chemical composition and stuff like that, and fluorescence. And the fluorescence looks very convincing to me, at least. There is something different in the material there, and it just fits the pattern that you get from neural tissue and arthropods. And so the fact that there is a differentiation, and then the fact that differentiation fits rather precisely the shape you find in arthropod neural tissue, is, I think, as much as you can get out of evidence for the veracity of this.
Yeah, so what is it specifically, I guess, is what I was trying to get at, of the shape that makes this specifically look like something that is not just a discoloration or a weird preservation of gut diverticulum?
Okay, well, in the Fujian Hua, first of all, you see this pattern going into the limbs itself. And you also see a pair of nodes within the head proper, which correspond to nodes seen in some crustaceans. But the main thing is that you've got, in the eyes, you've got 3 bulbous accumulations of tissue. And again, this is something that you see in some crustaceans.
Okay. Yeah, they in the paper, at least for the Fujian Hua paper, and then also the subsequent paper, they directly compare the morphologies that they're seeing to modern groups of arthropods.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess in the Fujian Hua stuff, which again is potentially right at the base of all modern arthropods, what are the results that they get out of that?
So this is kind of interesting. They keep comparing it to mandibulates.
What are
And
mandibulates?
just define what are mandibulates.
Yeah.
Hey,
it's
we
just
both said that at the same time.
That was a leading to me
Oh.
explaining what mandibulates were.
Oh,
sorry.
sorry. We
Faith in
didn't
me.
mean to interrupt you.
It's okay. And mandibulates essentially are arthropods with mandibles. They're basically, if you split arthropods into two, you've got the chelicerates, which are things like your spiders, horseshoe crabs, scorpions, ticks, mites, harvestmen, and then you've got your mandibulates, which are insects, crustaceans, myriapods, which are centipedes, and that sort of stuff. So they use this to say that the mandibulate brain, which they consider to be highly organized, had evolved in this Cambrian animal. The interesting thing about this is they don't talk about do you have something to say, Amanda?
I just wanted to say, if the mandibulate brain is highly specialized, does that mean the chelicerate brain is less highly specialized?
That's the interesting thing, right? So they say this, and they sort of say this is interesting. This means that this is a highly specialized brain that's the same as those in mandibulates. However, this is not a mandibulate.
No, this is the base of all arthropods.
Yeah, which would suggest to me that the mandibulate brain is basically maybe the ground pattern arthropod brain, and that it's maybe not highly specialized. That's just what arthropods have, and the fact that chelicerates have a different brain is some sort of chelicerate character that defines chelicerates.
I mean, yeah, that's entirely possible.
Yeah. So they discuss this, and it almost seems to me that they've got the polarization, which is like the order at which this character evolved, kind of flipped within their discussion potentially.
Yeah, they
possible.
pretty much put the cart before the horse.
Well, I mean, to give them their due, you need discussion like this before you can do anything in terms of polarity.
Yeah, you need to have some assessment of... I mean, you look at what you have in the modern, you say, okay, well, this looks very much like a highly derived version of blank. And that either means that maybe that thing evolved multiple times, or it's possible that's the original ground pattern. That's the oldest form, and everything else that's different evolved from that.
Yeah.
You need more study in order to show that.
Yeah, but there is a bias. I mean, in modern arthropod work, like insects are obviously highly specialized in the pinnacle, and then like the chelicerates therefore are just like relics there, because you've got the horseshoe crab, which basically most people think looks like a trilobite for some reason, and so chelicerates are just relics, and therefore they must show the primitive conditions.
I think they think it looks like a trilobite because some people keep persistently using that metaphor over and over and over again, even if it doesn't really work.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Oh. Never mind.
Horseshoe
Wait, you
crabs.
suddenly realized? Never mind.
Yeah, no, I got what it was, sorry.
It's okay.
So
You look
that's essentially-
tired.
I
Yeah.
am
Also,
tired.
why are you wearing a British flag? Is this specifically because you're in his territory?
No, it's my Sex Pistols t-shirt.
Okay, well that's good too. So you're just gonna walk around with the Nevermind the Bollocks t-shirt every single... I think you wore that the last time you podcasted online.
Probably, no, it's my God Save the Queen t-shirt.
Oh, good choice, good choice.
So yeah, so I mean, and from a to go into the appendages requires a lot more backstory.
To go into the appendages requires a lot more backstory.
The reason this is actually interesting.
The reason this is interesting. Oh, wow. No, please, James, indulge us. Story
So
time.
I said at the start that you got protocerebral and deuterocerebral and tritocerebral regions of the brain.
Yeah, the front brain, the midbrain, and the back brain, essentially.
Yeah.
Or first, second, and third lobes.
Yeah, forebrain, midbrain, hindbrain. And there's been some debate for about 70 years about where some of these appendages you see on arthropods sort of fit into. And you'll remember, maybe, that when we discussed Fugentia last time, it was because they had just described these specialized appendages in the head.
Yes.
Is that the creepy one where it looks like the things are coming out of the eyes on that one reconstruction that you have?
that really bad reconstruction? Yes.
Yeah,
That looks like it's a giant sperm that's, like, crying blood penises out of its eyes.
Yes.
What's the book?
I'm doing a review of it.
That picture is so fucking terrible.
It is absolutely terrible. I used it in a talk, and I'm going to print it out in giant print and just plaster it all over Amanda's house, so all she dreams about is blood penises.
This is one of those things that you should do just like as like a horrific experiment. Just put that in like a giant picture over someone's bed when they're sleeping so that they wake up and look at that fucking Geiger-esque monstrosity and just shit their pants.
We're going to have to do that to you because I don't want to fuck up Amanda anymore.
Yeah, I know.
She already is.
Yeah,
It's okay.
'cause
It was... So this is all an extenuation of the threat to put Natalie Portman's creepy, like, half-human, half-black swan picture above my bed just to fuck... With little light-up red eyes just to fuck with me whenever I wake up. So no, this will be good. That's way better, actually. I will take the creepy-ass looking fucking sperm with penises coming out of its eyes over that creepy-ass fucking image. I don't know what that says about me as a human.
I'm not sure either. Anyway, sorry, you were saying, James?
So there was some debate with these appendages as to whether the specialized ones were homologous to these enlarged great appendages that we see in some other arthropods.
I'm actually super impressed that you just managed to pull into that with, like, completely straight-laced and a sigh of exasperation.
And so in order to sort of clarify this, we need to know what part of the brain they innervate from. And what this one shows us is that the frontal smaller ones are jutocerebral, and that the specialized ones are tritocerebral.
Okay.
And this is different.
So why is it so important to know what part of the brain they come from? I think that's the key bit of information. Why is it important to know what lobe?
Because this depends on what appendages in different arthropods are homologous. So which ones come from the same segment or not?
Okay. So yeah, so you know that it's more likely for the things to be related to each other if they're deriving from similar processes to create them. So if
they come from different processes, you know they're clearly not related to each other.
Well, yeah, exactly. If they're coming from the same part of the brain and the development to create them is all the same, then you suggest that they're probably more likely to be homologous. If they look really similar but they're coming from completely different methods, then they're not homologous. That's why this is important.
Yeah. And this sort of feeds into arguments about arthropod ground plan and whether raptorial appendages were like the primitive condition of arthropods, or whether there were
define raptorial appendages.
Certain groups or not.
Please define raptorial
appendages that are raptorial.
That is not a fucking definition, you asshole.
Appendages that things use to kill other things.
Hooray! That's a definition.
Or just grab. Could just be grabbing.
But then they kill it.
In Amanda's mind, when you...
It's like the same thing.
In Amanda's mind, when you grab something,
this is why you don't like hugs. This is why you don't like hugs. I figured it out.
That's right. I don't like hugs because I'm secretly terrified that all grasping appendages mean instant death.
Amanda knows that if you grab something, you intend to kill it.
That's accurate.
The trouble is when you refer to human hands as grasping appendages, that sort of leads to certain trains of thought anyway.
This is getting weirdly creepy Japanese rape game.
God damn it, James.
Why? How was this me?
Human hands as raptorial appendages
grasping
is creepy.
Appendages. Yes, Curtis, just do that motion. Everyone can see it.
So anyway, raptorial appendages on arthropods are very important because...
You're a fucking arthropod worker, Curtis.
Yeah, there's a generally held belief that that the great appendage arthropods, i.e. arthropods that have really big limbs that are used for grabbing, are all kind of related, and that those limbs are homologous to each other, that they all derive from one common ancestry. So that the large chelicerae of like your Eurypterids or your spiders or your scorpions are all similar to the large claws that you get in some of your more basal arthropods.
Yes. Well, yeah. I mean, that the original... Okay, I'll just go into the history. when these things were first discovered, and they were first found in the Burgess Shale, there were specifically groups called megachirons, which are your great appendage arthropods, sensu stricto. And these things all look very similar. They've got a single pair of these enlarged grabbing appendages at the front of the animal, and then they've got a sort of like homonymous body segments going back. You also get other types of great appendages. There are enlarged raptorial appendages in some bivalved arthropods, so arthropods that have this big dorsal shield which has got a hinge down the middle. And there's also large raptorial appendages on anomalocaridans, which are things like Anomalocaris herdia, Patoya, things that if you just Google the Burgess Shale, you're going to see very quickly.
Yeah, Anomalocaris is potentially...
these were initially...
Anomalocaris is potentially reconstructed as one of the largest predators in the Cambrian seas.
Yeah. So when these were first discovered, and then when they were first looked at by somebody that wasn't just interested in just describing them, they were all considered to be homologous to the chelicerae of your chelicerates. So these sort of they're fangs in spiders, but most other chelicerates retain them as kind of clasp knife, scissor type things. Amanda's doing the cutest. That actually kind of looks like how a solifuge eats. Yay! And so these were all considered homologous, and therefore either they are part of the arthropod ground plan, or all these things are on the stem lineage to chelicerates. People, when they started looking at modern arthropod brains, began to question this and began to try to look at what was going on in the arthropods, which is very difficult to do because up until recently we didn't know what arthropod brains looked like in the slightest in the fossil record. And it's been suggested very recently that, in fact, the raptorial appendages, the great appendages between fossil arthropods, aren't homologous to the chelicerae, and that they were actually on the tritocerebral segment, whereas the chelicerae are clearly deuterocerebral. This again was another debate that had for a long time, whether or not chelicerates could ever have antennae, and whether antennae had reduced, or whether the antennae had just been modified into chelicerae. And for a long, long time, people thought they had reduced antennae. Now we know clearly this isn't true. So then after this paper came out, this Xu one, it was suggested that these specialized appendages are homologous to the great appendages of megachirons, and that they are therefore not homologous to the chelicerae at all, and that these things are all stem arthropods, and chelicerates are just their own thing.
I would say, so do we want to take a quick break and then come back to discuss the megachiron paper? I mean, do you have anything else to talk about the Fujian-Hua stuff? I mean, specifically, we talked about that it was a mandibulate-looking brain pattern, and that suggests that that might be the more primitive or plesiomorphic condition for all of Arthropoda. Yeah, so do we want to take a quick break and then come back to talk about the megachiron paper? The large appendage paper?
Yes. Okay.
So now we're going to talk about what, megachirons?
Yeah. Oh, I love your eyebrows.
Yeah.
Don't stare at the wine. I haven't had that much.
Let's keep moving.
Thanks to the magic of editing, I never said anything.
Oh, you wish.
No, I'll fucking hunt you down. Yeah, so I guess depending on how much of that last conversation we just got, we're talking about megachirons, and I may or may not have said why these are important, and I may or may not have said why, what appendages and what and all that.
Yeah, this podcast has been a delightful shit show, hasn't it? Oh God, Amanda just disappeared.
Oh what? Oh no!
No,
Am I
you're
back?
frozen. You're moving slowly.
Oh.
You're here for me.
Okay, good.
Yep, you're dancing. That's good.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Anyway, yeah, this has been kind of a bizarre.
I know why this has been so bad.
Why?
Because yesterday Curtis goes, we know where all the problems are, it'll be fine.
Fuck. Are you blaming it all on me? What the fuck?
You jinxed us.
Because I said, and my reply to it was, yeah, I've been thinking that, but I haven't want to say it because I don't want to tempt fate.
God damn it, Curtis.
I don't think I can be blamed for your
Once
internet
again, everything that's
connection.
ever gone wrong is your fault. Ever gone wrong.
Anyway. So
James,
Megachirons.
Megachirons.
Megachiron is Greek for big hand.
Oh, good.
You know what they say about people with big hands?
I
They
do.
wear big gloves.
Yeah. And puppies with big paws are going to be big dogs.
That's very true.
So maybe these became big arthropods. Maybe not. Either way.
Oh, you solved the puzzle. They're just baby arthropods. They're gonna get really big when they grow up. That's a nature paper.
That totally is a nature paper. You can be second author on it if you want.
Yay.
You came up with the idea and said to submit to Nature. No, I like this. Amanda came up with the idea. Amanda said this can be a Nature paper. And I went, that's great, little lady. You could be second author. And she went, yay!
That's how I roll.
Women's intuition.
I don't
Seriously,
think it works
we're doing
that
women's
way.
intuition jokes? Seriously? That's where we're at now?
No, because this isn't going to be in the podcast.
Oh, right. Forgot about that. Yeah, I'll be editing that out.
So who wants to talk about Megachirons?
I would assume the person
I
who
don't think you
probably
guys want me talking about Megachirons. Curtis?
Everything froze for me.
Where'd he
The
go?
world has frozen. You're not saying
Okay,
anything.
You're back. No, you're back.
Hi,
You're back
Are
now.
you there?
I'm here.
Okay, good.
Are you there, James? James is sitting here, but he's not saying anything.
Because I'm waiting for you to appear on the headphone audio. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, the
good.
weird thing is I hear James, and then I hear Amanda waiting for James's response in her headphones.
Yeah.
Which means that the internet connection is not... Oh my god. Let's finish this as quickly as humanly possible.
Yeah, it's not consistent lag.
Yes,
This is really
yes.
bad, and it's always Amanda's computer lagging. Occasionally, I hear a massive echo
We'll fix
from
this
James.
next time. Curtis, you like to as well. I'm the only one that's actually on time.
Everyone is the only one who's actually on time, James.
You don't realize how the world works.
Right, of course.
Yeah,
I forgot
hate to tell
about
you
that.
you're lagging for me.
Everyone's lagging.
I nearly said, well, at least I'm not coming early, and then I just realised exactly how that sounded. So, so great appendage arthropods.
Yeah, great appendage arthropods. Great thing to talk about.
Oh yeah, okay. So there's a second paper looking at Alclonneus, and it's got preserved brain, and it's a great appendage arthropod.
Hooray!
Yay!
I really like the fact that I
thank you
can
for joining
hear
in.
Amanda's feed of your voice 10 seconds after it.
I know. We can't keep
I'm-
referencing it though, because the magic of editing, Curtis, will solve this problem.
I think
this
Curtis is a little too far gone.
It's okay, because when he comes back and his parents give me Thanksgiving dinner, he'll be rewarded for all this hard work with a Thanksgiving dinner.
That's exactly how that works. I'm only getting Thanksgiving dinner from my parents because of all the work I've been doing on the podcast.
Well, you're certainly not getting it out of any kind of love.
Of course not. God, no. At least you understand how my parental units work.
Ouch.
So,
This got dark, guys.
No, it's our pre Thanksgiving episode. It's all about family love and caring and
Oh
giving
my god, he
thanks
just asked me if I'm still here.
Google will do that occasionally and make a really annoying noise.
It's okay, because I'm really not.
Yeah.
Oh, I have disk space remaining for recording 86 hours and 22 minutes.
Hooray!
Yay!
Very glad
so
that we established this.
Yeah. The second paper is looking at Alcomnaeus, which is a great appendage arthropod. What's your mum want?
Wings lost.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, sucks.
Is that... I was just about to ask if that's baseball. Why am I an idiot?
Anyway, great appendage
yeah.
arthropods.
Yeah, so this is a great appendage arthropod. And this means that we can tell what the great appendages actually innovate from in relation to Fujian here, which we saw just now.
So, in other words, what part of the brain the great appendages actually derive from?
Yeah.
Right.
And it's really cool because we've got some nice new views of Alcomnaeus, which this may be a new species, but Alcomnaeus is a great appendage arthropod from the Burgess shell that there's a surprising amount that we don't know about it. We're not entirely clear about how many appendages are in the head and all this sort of stuff. So, and we've got some really nice lateral views in this paper that you can't see, boys and girls. And I could just tell you, it just looks amazing. I just really wish you could see it. But it's got three appendages.
Keep talking it up,
in the head.
James. Seriously, just keep talking it up. It's going to be great.
Yeah. And it's got three appendages in the head, aside from the great appendages, which tells us something. I'm not going to tell you what it is, because you can work that out for yourselves.
I can take a stab at it.
Okay, go on.
Yeah, man, take a stab at it. What does it mean?
It means that great appendages are, glued on with,
Yeah, no, exactly.
No, I know what it is. They are like lampreys, and they just kind of attach on to arthropods. They're
okay. So the great appendage is like an animal attached to the face of the arthropod.
I much prefer going on for the really cool parasitic animal and not for the we're faking fossils so we can get money aspect.
Oh no! It was like at the It was like at the time the arthropod glued it to its face like a fake mustache.
Oh, so it's a fake. Damn it! I was just about to look at a fake mustache, and then your dialogue came through telling me that you were likening it to a fake mustache. Okay.
Yes. So it wasn't saying that people faked the fossil. It was saying that the animal that was living at the time stuck the fake appendages on like a practical joke. Like the fake mustache with the glasses, the big nose, and the mustache that you put on.
The Groucho Marx mustache.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And so what this
That's what the paper says, right, James?
Yes, this was in fact the first member of the Marx Brothers.
Okay, good. So it's just a grease paint mustache, and that's what the megachirons were.
And this is why it had large grabbing appendages, because it was like a member of the Marx Brothers.
Yeah, I was trying to grab Margaret Dumont, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, this makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah.
God, science makes so much more sense now.
That's another Nature paper.
That is another Nature paper.
I think we have a title for the podcast.
We're done now. We're out.
We're out. We're good.
So they compare this brain to... yeah. So what this shows is that the great appendage is jutocerebral, so not homologous to the specialized appendage in... do you need some more, Amanda? Oh, no, you're still full. Not homologous to the specialized appendage that is in Fujian here, and is actually homologous to the chelicerate in chelicerates. And they actually compare this to the brain. They compare this neural tissue, which they actually have running down the entire body, because arthropod brains aren't just in the head. They go down the entire body. They're like snakes, but not actually related to snakes in any way. Snakes have brains going down the entire length of the body.
They do?
Yeah, why not? I was going to say that's why if you cut the head off a snake, the body still wriggles, and then realise that it doesn't have to have a brain for that to happen.
I was gonna say because chickens.
Chickens can stay alive as long as you keep putting chewed food down the esophagus. They can keep eating and living once you cut the head off. They did it in Russia.
All right, okay.
Of course they did.
I think the key thing, though, is that with arthropods, there are like little ganglia or nervous packages that are associated with the segments.
Yes, arthropods have multiple packages that are located within each segment. So, as we can see from this detailed preservation of the arthropod's packages...
Yes, the detailed preservation of arthropod package.
That they compare this to horseshoe crabs and scorpions, and there's actually bits that sort of resemble it. Now, the big difference here is that this has a head consisting of 4 appendages plus the eyes, whereas chelicerates have 6 appendages plus the eyes. But the forebrain, or the anterior region of the brain in chelicerates resembles very closely the brain that we see in this great appendage arthropod. And the really interesting thing is that this great appendage arthropod has 4 eyes, and chelicerates, one of the defining features is that they've got these dorsal small rudimentary eyes, and the attachment position and the brain innervations for these eyes looks very, very similar to what we see in chelicerates. So it looks like the chelicerates, ocelli, which is what we call the reduced eyes, actually are reduced versions of larger eyes that were perhaps on the megachirons.
Okay, so it suggests that there could be use of looking at the megachiron morphology to get an idea of the basal form of chelicerates.
Yes, because and they actually do a phylogenetic analysis, which is in the supplementary online material, so I don't know if anyone else saw it. But this is just based on brain characters, but they actually get this as a chelicerate. No, hang on a minute.
And again, just I guess to reiterate, I think we mentioned it earlier on, but chelicerates are the group that includes your spiders, your scorpions, your eurypterids. There are these
Horseshoe
things that have
crabs.
these large,
Horseshoe crabs.
Oh,
horseshoe crabs. They have
it's
these
not
large.
It's not in the. It's not in the supplementary material. It's in extended data figure 2, which is part of the paper but not part of the paper.
Okay,
somehow.
good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, this suggests that great appendage arthropods, at least sensu stricto, the ones that are actually great appendage arthropods, are part of the chelicerate stem, and not, not basal arthropods.
Well, that's pretty neat.
Well, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. The tree's kind of cool because there's a giant polytomy and they haven't tried to hide it.
That's pretty cool too.
It's also the only fossil in that tree because it's only based on brain characters.
That's really funny.
Although, I mean, how many fossil brains do you have? Or fossil putative brains do you have?
2.
Yeah, 2. Exactly.
There's only 1 fossil in the tree. So yeah, and they make it fluoresce.
That's always fun. You gotta love that.
Yeah, and this is the iron and copper thing that Curtis was talking about earlier on.
Yeah, where they show the entire animal lights up as copper, but there are very specific canals around the animal, as well as the lobes in the head region that are all very rich in iron. And so they use that as a means to say that there's some sort of differentiation between the majority of the cuticle and these areas that are preserving, looking physically like the thing is that the iron just repeats what is already present in the stain of the actual organism already.
Yeah.
So they use that as a means of saying, look, this is actually something really unique. It's not just like a random chemical stain.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And Amanda looks like she's fallen asleep.
Yeah, I mean she's been doing that for about 2 hours, but
Yeah.
Amanda always looks like she's falling asleep whenever we I would say whenever we talk about arthropods, Amanda always looks like she's falling asleep.
Well, that and also it's like almost my bedtime, so.
it's true.
I don't know how pathetic that makes
Oh, yeah,
me. I
good
guess pretty pathetic.
No, it's okay. No. That's completely fine. I understand totally. I will sometimes be in bed by now too.
Yeah.
Mm.
Woohoo!
Well, is
This
there
is what
anything else
happens.
we specifically want to add to this?
No. This is what happens when you get old, kids. You go to...
I'm really sorry, Amanda, but you're not that old.
I wasn't being serious. Anyway, no, I got nothing, because although this stuff is really, really cool, I fully admit it's not my forte. And so I'm just kind of sitting here going, yeah, this is all really neat. Yeah, I read the papers. Yeah, I have no idea what any of this means.
Do you know how many vertebrate stuff we've had to sit through for the last couple of months?
Mm-hmm. Do you know how much of that
To be
vertebrate
fair,
stuff I understood?
We try.
I want to say, to be fair, I do think that part of this was James's very strong interest in this meant that James could talk about things.
James also had no desire to talk about things.
That's because
This
you
is
had a bad
problematic
evening.
then.
Yeah. Oh well. We made it work. Mostly. Sort of. A little. Kind of. Back me up here, guys. Jesus.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's not as great as that diagram you showed me, but
Which one?
the one you
Wait,
emailed me.
Wait. What diagram?
Oh man, your brain. Your brain is so bad.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's not a diagram. It's a figure. Diagram has very specific meaning in my head. I emailed him graphs with pictures of bird feet, and it was pretty cool.
Diagrammatic pictures of bird feet
Line drawings.
with things labelled.
Yeah,
Shaded.
filled in line drawings.
Diagrams.
Diagrams, I think of like flowcharts and shit when I hear about diagrams.
No, that's a flow chart.
Fuck you. Flowcharts can be diagrams.
Yeah, if they're part of something better.
I don't know. Whatever. I'm too tired to argue. Like I am. I like literally can't string
I know, you
coherent thoughts together.
Yeah, you just immediately went for insulting me, and
Yeah, usually I hold off for a couple sentences until I get there. Sorry, Curtis.
That's okay. I've been holding off because the audio sync between you versus James has been so bad that I say something, James immediately responds, and then you respond 5 seconds later. So I've just been not talking.
I'm just gonna take my ball and go home.
It's not really your fault. I think it's just that we probably shouldn't be having two people tax James's download.
Yeah, I have to agree.
the only other thing is if we end up doing this in the department, which I don't really want to do.
That actually might work out pretty well because you got pretty decent internet there.
Yeah.
That is true. But I don't really want to go to the department on a Saturday night.
Yeah, no, that sounds pretty shitty. And the only people that will be there to enjoy your company are cockroaches.
Or who?
We'll take the cat.
Cockroaches.
Yeah, we'll take the cat. Oh, yeah. Well, I left my power cord there, and so I had to run back and get it, and there were, like, weird thumping noises coming from one of the upper levels, and I sort of stopped in the stairwell and listened, and the sound stopped, and I was like, you know what? I don't need to investigate this any further, and then I just left.
Well, there's a whole USG...
You said you didn't need anyone to come with you.
That's because you texted me when I was already at the stoplight on Iowa.
There's a whole
Your text took... Yeah.
There's a whole KGS theory that Lindley is haunted.
I don't think it's haunted. I just think there were quite a few cars out there. I just think there was some kind of thing going on.
I don't think it's haunted.
There's also the pipes are really shitty. There was a
yeah.
robot in my wall on Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's any validity towards any haunting. I think that's all ridiculous. But it definitely there's a billion fucking sounds that come out of nowhere in Lindley Hall.
Yeah. However, my apartment is haunted, or at least my building.
Oh, and why do you know this?
By people who play the sax?
No, not just that, but for the third time now, I have been waiting for the tumble dryer to finish.
Oh.
And then I've been waiting for people to come and collect their stuff, and then I get fed up and just open it up, and it's empty.
Do you, wait there permanently, or, do you leave and come back?
I leave and come back, but the moment you open the door, it stops from reading the value and goes to reading what it costs, rather than the time.
Oh, that's weird.
The only way I could see it working is if somebody consistently goes after half an hour. Nah, I don't need my clothes to be dry. Takes them all out, shuts it to finish.
That could actually happen.
So you're imagining an entire ghost story that revolves just solely around inconveniencing your laundry.
There's only one good tumble dryer, the other one's rubbish. And it's always the good one that's just running.
Yeah, no, ghosts are the only possible explanation.
I have 3 dryers in my building.
I love how competitive you are.
I'm just saying, it's kind of shitty that... It's just kind of shitty that your building only has, 2. And I was gonna say 1 there, and then I realized that no, there are multiples.
No, I mean, there's only one good one, but there were only 2 in my old building as well.
Well, I guess because we don't really
I'm
have
really
much
tired,
else.
guys.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because we don't really have much else to talk about. Apparently.
And this whole thing has just been such a great time.
You think this is bad? You wait until we try to fucking talk about what we're going to try to fucking talk about next time.
I don't know. I think estimations of rates
Woo.
could be really fun.
The first thing Amanda said when she talked about the papers, when we looked at them, was, "Hey, we could talk about molecular clocks."
Because I'd forgotten that we had already talked about molecular clocks.
Here's the thing. Because she's forgotten that she already talked about molecular clocks, it'll be a whole brand new experience. It's like an Alzheimer's patient meeting new people every single day.
Pretty sure that's just Amanda.
Yeah, I should probably get a CAT scan or something.
For the record, I don't think you have Alzheimer's. And on that note, I've been Curt.
I've been Amanda.
I'm James.
And we're signing off. So yeah, eventually this will work itself out. I swear to God, this...
It's going to be about half an hour, but this is not a fun...
It's not going to be half an hour. We've got 40 minutes of Amanda, and
then another 30 on top of that, pretty much.
Yeah, we've got another 27, 30 minutes on top of that. It's really actually going to be pretty good.
Okay, well, we'll see when it comes out.